Yes, people, what's happening? We are back with another episode of Let the Punk Talk. Always, I'm joined by Carl from Boxing Royalty. And today, obviously, the main talking point would be the Canelo fight yesterday. So, Carl, obviously, I know both of us haven't seen it, but what are like your thoughts on this?
I watched a few highlights. So like today I've just been scanning through like Instagram and I've seen like things, but from what I can see, Bivol played with him, like literally like played with him, schooled him. And it people say size makes a difference, and Canelo come out afterwards and like, I'm not going to make excuses, but the weight wasn't right for me. Well, that's a fucking excuse, mate. So
Hmm.
I'm sick of hearing about people blaming weight. I know you said about it before, but I was shocked because if you go off Bivol's performance against Richards, he didn't look great, but last night he looked fucking brilliant. From what I've seen, I mean, I don't know what you've seen of it, and was you surprised?
Oh, mate, yeah, massively surprised because I've never really rated the what's his name, Bivol.
Bivol, yeah,
Yeah, I've never, not that I never rated him. Obviously, he's good, but I mean, I never thought he was like anything special. And obviously, Canelo's like pound for pound king at the moment. And like, yeah, just waking up to that today, I was like incredibly shocked by it. I did not see that coming. But what does Canelo mean? Like the weight it weren't right for him? Was he fights down at super middleweight and so on? So what was
yeah.
his
He
range?
something. Michael Benson put it up. It was like a quote, when he puts them up, and it was something along the lines of, "There are no excuses for me losing this fight. Maybe you could blame the weight, and I wasn't quite ready." Something along those lines. But it's all bullshit, mate. Just don't take the fight then. Do you know what I mean? Like delay it. You've got all this money. No one's going to moan if you delay it by 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like just admit you got beat. I see. Was it Floyd Mayweather or someone come out today and said, "Don't compare him to me ever again because he's not great."
Well, I think that's a bit bullshit. I mean, he is great. Like, I don't know how he can say that. I mean, he's beaten everyone there is to beat. Like, yeah, like unified super middleweight, won world titles at super welter, middle, super middle, and light heavy. So how's he not great?
I think he's a great prick. I can't stand him. I just look. You can't doubt, like, you can't take anything away from him boxing wise because as a boxer, he's brilliant. Look at what he done to Callum Smith. Like, no one's done that to Callum Smith.
Mhm.
Even Billy Joe, to a certain extent, you could argue what he done to him. But mate, he's just, and I know you say everyone's like it, but he is definitely on peds. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be jumping up and down like he is and battering people.
Yeah, but yeah, mate. As I say all the time, like I just don't really like buy into that thing anymore like I used to when I was younger. Like mate, everyone's on it. Everyone seems to jump up and down. Look at Manny Pacquiao, for instance. Manny Pacquiao fought at minimum weight, so like what, like 117 pounds, I think his debut was, and then he's gone up to like 145 and won world titles at 8 different weight classes, and not only won world titles but blasting people out. So he was definitely on drugs, and like Floyd Mayweather, there's been loads of stories about I've heard about him like finding needles in his apartments and so on, and like everyone's on it, mate. Every single fighter at world class level is on something. So it doesn't matter if Canelo's on steroids or not because everyone else is up there with him on steroids. So it doesn't make a difference. So like, and it's not just in boxing; it's in every sport. Every single sport they take steroids, and so yeah, I just don't really like buy into it like I used to, and like I was super mad when everyone used to say it, and I'd be like, no, he's not on this, he's not on that, and then when someone come out when they was on it, I'd be like, oh, fucking, he's on this, he's on fucking that. Like, it doesn't. I've just come to realize that is sports. Like, everyone's on something. If you're at the top, and the more money you make, the less money, like more money you make the sport, the less likely you are to get found out that you're on something, and the less money, and the less fans you bring, the more likely you are to get found out that you're on something. So yeah, I don't know, that whole thing now for me just doesn't really like when people are like, he's on this, he's on that. So what? Everyone else is on it. Everyone's on it. So it's just a level playing field, really. At the end of the day.
It's sad though, isn't it? Because you get like people like yourself that are vying to be great. Is that the right thing of saying? You're destined to be great,
Mm.
and then the people that are great are just fucking cheating. It's just wrong, isn't it? It's just a great. Have you ever been drug tested in camp or anything?
Never, mate. Never. I don't.
Never.
It doesn't really happen. Like you sign like I think you signed something and it says that like the border control can turn up and drug test you whenever, but it's never been done to me, and I've never heard of it ever getting done to anyone at a small level, even at a top level. I've never heard of it. So yeah.
I know Bellew got done because he was furious when he. I think it was for the Usyk fight. They kept banging on his door at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he said, and apparently if they're there and they know you're there, like they won't go until you answer the door. So he said they were at the door for like 15 minutes. You then got to get up, piss into a little cup, and it's just. I feel well. Do you say I feel sorry for the clean fighters that get done, but you say you feel sorry for AJ with what happened with Miller, but like you say, what do we know what AJ's not taking that's not legal? Do you know what I mean? It's just a rot off. But with Canelo, mate, unless he's fighting a Brit, I just don't want to watch him. I don't like him. You've got to respect him, but I don't know. I don't like him.
What don't you like about him?
I just don't like him. I don't know. Might be because he's great, but then I like all the, I like Fury, I like Joshua, I like all these fighters that are up there and are creating a legacy. But I think it's more because I'm a GGG fan. I think, which I think GGG beat him in the first fight. But I don't know, mate. I just don't like him. There's a few fighters I don't just like, and I could list them off. Do you know what I mean? I don't like them. I don't know why. You just don't like somebody or something. You don't have to have a reason. I just, like if someone sits there and has a conversation with me about Canelo, I'm like, yeah, fucking whatever. It's like crypto, mate. In the job that I've just left, all they bang on about is every time I go for a smoke, they're, oh, look at this coin. I just walk off. I'm like, shut up. I don't care about crypto. And if I'm one of them people, if I don't want to listen, I'm not going to just listen to it. And I won't get into a discussion about Canelo unless, obviously, for this purpose. But, like when you're watching, I could sit there and talk about AJ or anyone all day long, but I just don't like him. I don't know why. Fuck him. I'm glad he got beat. And I hope wish he got stopped.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Do you think he banged on? He said, I want the rematch. Do you think that'll happen? Is he that type of guy, do you think, to do that?
Yeah, I think he will. I'd like to think so. But I was literally just going to ask, what do you think's next for him? Because, I mean, has he still got all the titles at super middle?
I think he has, because he's only stepped out for one fight, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he could go down there, defend them, or he could have the rematch. But I don't know. He could even like retire, really. But I don't think he will. But yeah, I think a rematch is probably the most likely thing that will happen. I'm sure they must have like a rematch clause in them.
Oh yeah, there was definitely, regardless of the result, there was always going to be a rematch because it was for Bivol's world title. I think the rematch will happen, but it's who else are going to fight? Like he signed this, I think it was a 2-fight deal, a 3-fight deal with Dazn, which was Bivol, Golovkin.
Oh really?
But now you're going to sit there and think, well, look, Golovkin was supposed to be in September, so the plan was obviously bash Bivol up 3 or 4 rounds, fight him again in June, 3 or 4 rounds, and then fight again, because he fights 3-4 times a year, and then fight in September. But unless he takes the immediate now rematch and says let's fight in June, July, I can't see how the Golovkin fight's going to happen, and I can't see Golovkin waiting around. I think that's a silly fight for Golovkin to take, to be honest with you. I think he'll get hurt against Canelo.
No, I don't know why. Canelo should have just went up to Cruiser, beat that shit guy that's got the title, who Bellew fought.
Makabu.
Yeah, and then just retired, and he would have had status of like greatest of all time. That's what
he greatest of all time, yeah.
Well, he could have definitely argued his case. I mean, he beat honestly, yeah. If you look at his resume, it's like it is honestly second to none out of every single fighter that's fighting right now. No one has beat like the people that he's beat. Like he's just beaten like world class fighter after world class fighter.
He's beat them all. Who did he fight? Daniel Jacobs. That was a great fight. Do you remember that? I watched that one.
He's just beat everyone, and like Kolarov, like light heavy, like was an animal. He stopped him. Like Billy Joe undefeated, stopped him. Callum Smith undefeated, went the distance. Like not only like Callum Smith was like probably was the second number 2 at the division. Well, probably at the time probably was number 1 because he just won the boxing super series and all that. And then like the list just goes on. Like Daddy Jacobs, like mate, he just beat everyone.
In fact, yeah. So he stepped up 2 divisions to take that Bivol fight, didn't he? What's Bivol? Is Bivol light heavyweight or cruiserweight?
Light heavy.
Which
So
is one above super middle.
One, yeah.
So he's definitely not going to go cruiserweight. So surely that now opens a path for Makabu to fight Okoli in a unification.
Probably, yeah.
What do you if Okoli boxed Canelo? What would happen there?
Cody's way too big, too strong for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, way too big, way too strong. Like I can't see anyone beating Okoli.
Even at heavyweight.
No, well, heavyweight's different, but at cruiser, then no one.
Yeah, I think he's waiting for AJ to piss off so that he can move up to heavyweight. How do you fare Okoli against someone like Fabio Wardley?
I've never really, mate. I've never watched Fabio Wardley.
Have you not? What about Nathan Gorman?
I think it'd beat Gorman.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it'd beat Gorman.
All right. What did you? Well, obviously we didn't watch the card, but have you heard of that Montana Love? Oh, Montana Love that was on the undercard.
No.
American. I think he might be either a world champion or on the fringe now. He had another good performance. He beat. Do this every time. Can't do the research. He beat somebody on a show a while back, and Eddie Hearn signed him. He looks really good. He's young as well. I think he's only about 25.
Actually, I think his name does ring a bell. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of hype around him, but as you said, when Eddie Hearn signed him,
he beat. He's at 18 wins, 9 knockouts, 1 draw, 27. He beat Ivan Baranchik. Stopped him in second.
So what's he like? He's light heavy as well, isn't he?
He is super lightweight.
What? It must not be the guy I'm thinking of then.
Only reason I watched him is because it was on the undercard of it was when Dubois and Jake Paul's undercard against Tyron Woodley. Didn't watch that fight because Jake Paul's a prick as well. I'd like Canelo to knock him out. I can't stand Jake Paul. I think he's an absolute knob.
He's a G.
What's your thoughts on him in boxing?
Don't really have any, mate. Like I've spoke about it before. Like I don't really think he's done anything wrong. Like boxing's made itself like that through the way it's like with ticket sales and all that stuff. So the more tickets you sell, whether you're a good boxer or not, the more like superstar status you earn. So, you know, like everyone's like, he's like, we've grafted our whole lives and he's on this show and that show and I'm here doing that and all this shit. And it's like, so fucking what? Like, you don't have that same mentality when a white collar fighter or someone off the street comes in and starts at and they just come into our sport with no background and they sell the tickets, but they do it, but because they're not a superstar, they do it at a small hall level. You don't care when they do it, but because Jake Paul's done it and he's a multi-millionaire that can sell millions of tickets and earning loads of money from it, you care just because you're not making that money that he's making. So you're just a bitter fucker, in my opinion. Like, that's the only way you know what I mean? It's the only way to describe like your feelings towards Jake Paul. It's just pure bitterness. Like, so yeah, he's not doing anything wrong. And when everyone's like, oh, he's not fought a real boxer, and that's all kind of just like, mate, I'm telling you now, yeah, out of like people that start up the small hall level, Jake Paul has had much harder fights than the people that start at the small hall levels when they start boxing, because at least Jake Paul is actually fighting real game opponents that are actually coming to win. And like, I mean, obviously I know Tyron Woodley's not a boxer, but he is a fighter at the end of the day, and he's a world-class fighter. So regardless, that was a hard fight regardless. Like, I don't think many people with no boxing experience until he actually started himself could have took on Tyron Woodley and beat them. I just highly doubt it. Like, Tyron Woodley's a world-class fighter, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he was like a stand and bang kind of guy as well. So he wasn't really like on the floor wrestling and submitting people and so on. But having said all of that, I've heard a lot of stuff about the contracts with Jake Paul and so on, where it's like, you know, you can't knock him out, you can't do this. Like, there's a lot of things I've heard that are in the contract, which, in my opinion, like, it's quite funny because, you know, obviously a lot of people slag off WWE when they're saying like it's scripted and so on, which I can get into this as well. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that in a minute, right? But with the WWE thing, I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, like, but that's fucking fixing fights, in my opinion.
I was going to say it's match fixing, yeah.
And like it's been allowed to get away with. Well, if this is true, but do you know what? I know it's true, but I can't really come out and be like, yeah, it's true, like this, that, because it's just hearsay. But I just know it's true because of the people that have informed me of the information, like the people that I know that have, like, I know people that have sparred Jake Paul and everything. So I know it's true, but I can never fully come out and say it, you know, if that makes sense. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying about the WWE thing, yeah, just seeing as I brought it up. But you know when they're all like, yeah, like I don't know, you watch it, it's scripted, like it's fake and all this, yeah. Like I just don't know. Have these idiots like just woke up one day and just been informed of this information that that it's not real and that it's fake and it's scripted? Like, I know that. Just like when you go to the cinema and watch a movie, that's fake. Like, so what are you? I just don't understand the argument. Like, it's a fucking TV show, which obviously it is labeled as sport, but they label it as sport entertainment for that reason. Like, it's a TV show with like drama. That's what it is. And like, so yeah, when people come out and say that, mate, I just never understand the argument because we fucking know. Like, so have you only just found out and it's broke your heart that you've just found out about it? It's the whole point of the fucking thing. It's just meant to be a TV show. But yeah, that's my WWE rant.
That wouldn't surprise me with Jake Paul because, you know, I mean, look, I don't not like him because of what he's doing. Because look, anyone can do what he's doing. Do you know? Not anyone can do what he's doing, but if I decide to be a professional boxer, I could go and do that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a nobody, and nobody's going to come at me and say it. And it's not like he's doing this, you know, the streamed fights and he's calling out all these famous fighters. The bit I don't agree with Jake Paul is how he goes about his business with other fighters, like trolling McGregor's wife. Like, mate, McGregor would fuck Jake Paul up big time. Like, I firmly believe that. And I think it's quite scary because I do think he beats Tommy Fury. And I think Fury knows that deep down. But yeah, if he's putting in contracts that you can't knock him out, and you know, then it puts in regard. Well, did he genuinely fucking do what he did to Wardley? Do you know what I mean? Because did Wardley get hit and take a dive? I know it was a big knockout, but them questions are going to start coming into your mind, aren't they?
So, what was you going to say?
But I was just going to say, and with you at the WWE, I know not to question it. I said something the other week, didn't I? And you was like, well, talk to me, how? And I was like, well, I'm at work, I can't. I remember that. Like, I don't know what I said. I said, oh, well, it's fake, isn't it? And you was like, well, WWE has got more bigger stars in it than, and I thought, oh no, just about there. And I left. Well, we didn't leave it. We spoke about it, but I kind of just, you know, agreed to save my soul of being destroyed by the punk kid, which would have happened. So Kell Brook has come out and retired. What do you think on that?
Yeah, the right decision. Like, he kind of went out, like, really, it was the best possible way for him to go out. Like, he had like an absolutely incredible career, world champion, fought the best in his division, stepped up, fought the best. Obviously, they didn't all go according like to plan, but he fought the best, took on the best, was a world champion, won the title against a legit world champion in his backyard. And then you finish your career against your biggest rival in the sport and stop him in a massive show. Like, it was the best possible way for him to go out. Do you know what I mean? Went out on top, as I said, main evented, biggest rival, and probably like one of the biggest rivalries in British boxing history.
Yeah,
like he was all a part of it, so it was the perfect time. Like he definitely had one more money fight in him, but it's like, what was that money fight? Was it a big money fight where he was just going to step in and get absolutely destroyed by some up and coming young prospect, which no one would have liked to see him go out that way? Or was it going to be a big money fight where he was going to win another world title? I mean, the chances are it's probably he was going to get destroyed by an up and coming young prospect. So, yeah, in my opinion, it was the right decision, and he went out on top, on his own terms, and it was just a great way for him to go out.
Yeah, I know. Well, Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn have come out and said that when they offered, because when they found out that he was going to continue, well, he was going to continue. That's when Ben announced what was that guy he just boxed called Van something? Van Heerden.
Yeah.
And they paused the offer, didn't they? And they went into Brook and said, "Look, how much to fight Conor Benn at Manchester Arena in a couple of weeks?" And he wanted £10 million, which just was never going to happen. So yeah, I think it's the right thing. He's retired on the basis of he's won his biggest fight. That was as big as winning a world title for him, shutting that mug up.
Mm-hmm.
Old Muggo, as he called him. And yeah, I think what a great career he had. He arguably one of our greats, I would say. I'd go as far as saying.
100%. I always said it, mate. I always said that Kell Brook was an elite fighter that just got really unlucky with his eye socket. Because so he had beaten everyone up until Triple G, and in my opinion was beating Triple G until his eye went, and then in my opinion was battering El Spence again until his eye went again. So, he clearly showed that he was at elite level, and he fought at the highest level right up until the end of his career. I mean, I know he did get stopped a lot, but he was way past it by that point. And to be honest, when he put on that display against Khan, it really looked like he just rolled back the years. Like he just looked as good as he ever did. But in recent years, he hadn't looked that great. It looked like he was really slowing down and coming to the end, and then obviously brought it all back. But yeah, it was just the right time to go and walk away.
Yeah, I thought, like you say, considering how good he looked that night, I thought he was going to go again. But he has done the right thing, in my opinion, and he'll be remembered as someone who, gosh, talking like he's not here no more. In boxing, he will be remembered as someone who never turned away from a fight. I'm the same. I had him beating GGG. I had him beating Errol Spence. But it's scary. I think I said it to you before, but you just imagine if that eye socket never happened, where he would have been now.
Mm-hmm.
Unified,
100%. Yeah, he would have been right up there. Right up there. I couldn't really see, when he was in his prime and he was good, I just couldn't really see many people beating him apart from maybe Crawford, I would have said. And that he would have been the only one that I would have given him. Yeah, I just thought he just was so good in his prime, man.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. He always had probably one of the best ring walks in boxing as well. I think I actually made a joke, didn't I? I tweeted it, didn't I? The night I said, "What a ring walk!" Just shortly behind Jack Hughes's. I think in terms of ring walk, I like Dillian White's as well. I think that's a great ACD.
Yeah.
AJ's always got half decent ones. Talking of AJ, Tyson Fury has said about retiring as well. What do you think of that?
Yeah, again, I just think it's right, mate. He'd beaten all the best. Well, to be honest, he didn't really have many big fights, but the big fights he did have, he had the trilogy with Wilder, and he beat Klitschko. He beat Klitschko when Klitschko was the man. He beat Wilder, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure in everyone's opinion, 3 times. But obviously, he got the draw when Wilder was the man. And then, he beat Dylan White, and Dylan White's right up there as one of the best. I would probably say that Dylan White's in the top 4 now. I would say the top 4 would have been Fury, Usyk, Wilder, and then White.
Not AJ.
No, I genuinely think White would have beat AJ, but at this moment in time, anyway. But yeah, so he'd beaten the best out there, multiple times with the Wilder thing. Like he beaten all the animals of the sport. He did. And he wasn't going to get the opportunity with the whole Usyk thing to get the unification fight. And then now, like, so what's he going to do? AJ and Usyk are going to fight. Like he would just have to wait around for a year for him to get this unification fight, when really he doesn't really need to wait around for it. He's already beaten everyone. He's already, you know what I mean? He's been there, done that, brought the t-shirt. And like I don't really know if he'll come back. Well, he probably will. Like he probably will come back, but I can only see him coming back for a mega fight, like the unification fight, which probably won't happen now because he's vacated. If he's retired, that means he's vacated all his titles. And then and yeah, the chances are, I mean, no one really knows for certain if AJ's gonna fucking beat Usyk. So if AJ doesn't beat Usyk, what's the point of him coming back and having a massive British fight with AJ? Like the stature of the fight will be gone if AJ loses again. So, and what is he just going to come back to fight Usyk for one world title? I don't know.
I mean, I think there's no way he's retiring. I think he's coming back. I think personally, well, I've heard as well, not from anything credible, just seen it. Like, it's agreed that if AJ beats Usyk, they'll have that mega fight in Saudi Arabia in the summer, in the winter.
Yeah, that's the thing though. If AJ loses, do you see Tyson Fury coming back?
If it was a unification against Usyk, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't want to watch that fight. I think it'd be boring as fuck. It'd be a great boxing match, but I can't see. It'd be 12 rounds. But yeah, I think that's the only fight I can see him coming back for. Fury will only come back, I think, for AJ or Usyk. Nobody else.
I don't think he'll come back for Usyk, unless, again, as we said, the unification. But if he's retired, that means he has to vacate his titles, because a retired man can't hold the titles.
Well, the WBC have asked for a decision, haven't they? They come out, I think it was Thursday.
Yeah.
Said they've reached out to Fury to find out, and nothing's happened since, so he can't be that sure on it. But but then I don't get it. Like, he's saying, I'm going to fight Francis Ngannou in a crossover fight. Like, why? What's the fucking point?
Yeah.
You'll be paid the same amount of money to fight Usyk or AJ. Just wait. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand it. Like, if you don't need the money but you want to fight, have a little shitty fight and give it to charity or whatever. Fight a voluntary. Give your boy Joseph Parker to fight. That was supposedly going to happen if White didn't turn up. Bullshit. Them two wouldn't fight each other. So that just winds me up when you see these crossover fights, because I just think because I think Fury is better now than he's ever been. So I don't see why, and I think Sugar Hill will tell him, I don't see why he's going to retire. I just think it's a silly decision, because you think the heavyweight division's pretty dead when Fury and Joshua go, because who's there going to be to talk about?
Yeah.
Apart from Johnny Fisher, who everyone's talking about. Do you know what I mean? But literally, there is nobody. It's just shit. Dillian White's going to continue. I'd like to see him get a world title.
Yeah, I think that Dillian White and AJ need to have another fight.
I think they will. Well, if Fury does retire, that could be it. If Joshua beats Usyk, could be Fury versus White for everything. Do you know what I mean? Which would be just as crazy, I think. But you think White beats Joshua now?
Yeah.
On what power?
I just don't think AJ's ever been the same after he got sparked out by Ruiz.
I was talking to Tom about it the other night, and I said every time he gets chinned now, he goes so flat-footed, and he just has his arms in the air. What's going on here? So yeah, it's just I just don't understand why. Like I say, why crossover? If you want to fight, just carry on boxing. I know, like you say, what else is there for him? But mate, you'll get paid the same money whoever you fight. Do you know what I mean? You're a star, and just don't be a cock. Just you got to respect him. But someone said to me the other day, what happens if AJ fights Joyce? Well, it's not going to happen, but AJ Joyce.
Joe Joyce.
Yeah, not AJ Joyce. Sorry, Deontay Wilder first. Joe Joyce.
I think Wilder would spark him.
You think?
Yeah, I think Joyce has got a nightmare style for like probably 9 out of 10 people in the division. but I just think that Wilder's just the wrong man to put him in with, because right, even though that, like, do you know, the bar, even though the bar hits really fucking hard, like Joyce has got an absolutely incredible chin and it never bothered him once, yeah. But Joyce is just like, he's just incredibly slow, incredibly flat-footed, but just has a great chin and a great engine. And that's how he just kind of like, he just leans on people, tires them out, and then puts them away like late on. But he has that that tendency just to get caught. Like, he gets caught all the time. And I just think you just can't be that person that gets caught against Deontay Wilder, because it's just such a different level of power. And like, I just don't know how Tyson Fury did it. Like, I just really don't, and I just can't see anyone else in the division doing what Tyson Fury did. So I just think that when Wilder lands on anyone in the division, minus Tyson Fury for some reason, he puts them to sleep.
Yeah, it's scary power, isn't it? What do you think if Joshua fought Wilder? Do you think he could stop Wilder?
Yeah, he's got the power to stop him, but like, I don't see Joshua beating Wilder at all.
Do you think
I think
beat AJ?
Yeah, 100%. I reckon it would be early as well.
Do you?
Yeah, like in the first like 4 or 5 rounds.
Actually, I don't think Wilder's. I think Dillian White beats Deontay Wilder, and I think AJ beats Wilder.
Nah, White gets caught too much. And so, to be honest, so does AJ. But like, yeah, nah. But you know what? It kind of pains me to say that, because I'm just not a fan of how he boxes at all. Wilder, like, I just think it's so, like, not even amateur. I just think it's so, I just don't even know. It's just horrible style to watch, like jumping and swinging like that. Like, but just because he's got this like brutal one punch knockout power, it's just carried him. It's like his power is just so devastating that's just what's carried him the whole way through. And like, it was just like, I just don't know. Like, Tyson Fury's just built different. He was the only one that could have, like, out of everyone, he was the only one that could take it. And he was the only one that could get up from it multiple times. And I just can't see anyone else taking it and getting up from it. No,
Yeah,
I've seen every fight that I've, obviously this isn't the case with all of his fights, but every fight I've watched with Deontay Wilder, yeah, he has been outboxed by a country mile and then just fucking put someone's lights out, like, towards the end of the fight. And it happened with Ortiz twice. It happened with that Polish fella. I can't remember his name. Skiltzer, the guy that Spilker, yeah, Pete. He was battering White, and then he just put him in a coma. Like, he just does it all the time, and I just can't see anyone else like taking it. I just think anyone he lands on is just getting put out.
Yeah, I thought that with the Ortiz second fight. Was it the second or the first one? I can't remember, where Ortiz was battering him and he knocked him out late. I can't remember what one it was. And I thought, Jesus, like, Wilder's actually going to lose here. And the same with Fury. Like, when Fury got up in that last round, that was,
yeah,
you'll never see anything like that.
Yeah,
He was fucking sparked. He was out, like, left hand right over the top, but as he was going down, or was it right hand then left as he was going down? He caught him with, not going down, like, it wasn't a legal shot, but you know what I mean. But I just thought, holy shit, he's done. And then he done what your boy does, the Undertaker, and just literally sat up. You could see his arms. He was trying to, like, and I thought, ref, you got to cut this. And then he got up and started boxing his head off again. And I thought,
madness.
He's not normal, Fury. He's probably the greatest heavyweight ever, arguably. If he unifies, I believe that. I think.
Yeah.
But anything else you want to speak about?
I think that's it, mate. I think there's not really much going on at the moment. Don't think is there any good fights coming up?
Not that I'm aware of. There's a good one on the 23rd of July, but that's a while away yet.
Have a quick look on BoxRec, see if there's anything coming up that we should be speaking about. I would, but my phone's over. Terry's got my phone.
How do you look at upcoming fights on BoxRec?
Just hold on. I'll do it now. It's fucking unprofessional, Terry.
The logo.
It's unprofessional, isn't it, Cal?
What's that?
Terry having my phone time to get up and walk away. But
Commercial break.
do you like the new logo?
Yes, banging. Yeah, very smart. I like that.
It is, mate. Oh, with me, we could actually talk about the card on the 13th.
13th. Oh, the O2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going, aren't you? Denzel Bentley, Linus Stofia.
Yeah, I am going, mate. I am
And
going.
Razor Ali.
So it's quite a decent card. Where is it? Yeah. So you got Josh Kelly's making his comeback. You got Linus, Denzel, Brad Pauls, Ryan Kelly, Harvey Horn's making his comeback from his defeat, and Razor Ali as well.
Jesus, that is quite a good card. What's your just start at the top then? What's your thoughts on the main event?
Yes, good fight, man. It's a really good. It's a really good fight. Like that's going to be one of them fights. That's you just like this is what people don't understand, man. Like for me, yeah, the best fights you get in boxing are Southern area English and British title fights. Like I just don't know, man. It's just something different about being in York Hall and there's like a Southern area and English title fight on the line. It's just like two people just putting like everything on the line. Like, and I just have a feeling that British title fight is going to be like that. I mean, obviously they've got the big platform. It's not small hall, but it is small hall, if that makes sense. Like they've got like the platform and they're fighting at the O2. But obviously I've known Linus my whole career. Like he's come up through the small hall scene, and I think Ben Denzel's done the same. But yeah, I think that's gonna. Like, I've never actually watched Denzel fight, but I've seen Linus fight multiple times, and obviously he's my friend. So I really, really, really hope that Linus brings it home.
We're against each other on that one, aren't we? As you know, I'm a big Denzel fan. I think I watched Linus a couple of times. I just think Denzel's more, what's the word, seasoned at this level. You know, he's won the belt before, and I know that could mean nothing on the fight night because it's Linus's first big fight. I think Denzel might get to him mid to late rounds, but Linus could also get to Denzel at any point as well. So it is an interesting fight. I hope Denzel does it. Who's that?
I said they can both bang, can't they, as well?
Oh yeah. Did you? Well, you said yeah, but what Denzel done to Mark Heffron? Jesus wept. That was brutal. And obviously Linus boxed on a Sky Sports card, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, I was at that one with. Oh wait, what one? Oh, he's boxing a couple Sky Sports.
I think it was his last fight.
Yeah, the Wasserman one. Yeah, I was at that one as well.
Yeah, he looked good that night. When that weren't for the English title, was it?
Nah, I think that was for like I don't even know if it was for a title. If it was for like some international or something. Yeah, no, there was no title on the line.
And then what about? I think it'd probably be co-main event. Brad Pauls.
Yeah, that. Do you know what? It's also I think Brad Pauls will just blast this guy out personally. But it's interesting because obviously him and Linus are in the same weight division, and they also have the same trainer for like their whole career. And Linus is fighting for the British, so obviously if Linus wins, he's British champion. And then Brad Pauls' fight is eliminator for the British title. So yeah, if they both win, it would just be really interesting to see what happens in that. But
apparently, Linus has told Brad he'll move on and relinquish the belt if he wins it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I don't quite get because if I won the British title, I'd want to have it outright.
Do you know what? It's funny because that's a fight, yeah, that I think that every single person that knows them two and has been around small hall boxing, that is a fight. I think that is like the small hall fight that everyone would want to see is Brad Paul versus Linus.
Really? Who wins?
Oh, mate, come on, they're both my boys. Do you know what? I love Linus and I love Brad. Yeah, I've got a lot of time for both of them. I think it'd be a fucking incredible fight. I think Brad No, they can both bang, but Brad can bang a lot harder than Linus. And they're both good boxers, but Linus can box a lot better than Brad. And I just think that on boxing ability, I think Linus would take it. But it would be an incredible fight. And it's the fight that every small boxing fan wants. And it could probably main event, like, it could definitely main event the O2, just like this fight is.
Do you think that'll ever happen, them two, or not?
Nah, it never happened. Never happened.
It's gonna be interesting though, because if they stay at that weight together, do you know? And it's one of them. But your boy's fighting on the card as well, isn't he?
He is, mate. Ray Early's making his long-awaited return.
How's he looking? Have you seen him? I know you haven't been down to Poke, but you haven't seen him at all?
No, I haven't even seen him, mate. Obviously, just like little clips on his Insta and so on. But I know what Ali, and I know he's always on fire, and I know how good he is. And Kieran has told me that he's on fire. So, that's all I need to hear. Is as long as Kieran's telling me he's on fire, he must be on fire. The one thing about Ali, yeah, I swear to God, I've seen him spar like literally everyone. I've seen him spar top prospects. I've seen him spar not so top prospects, and I have never seen anyone get the better of him in sparring. And like that's not even like me blowing smoke up his ass or anything. That I've seen him take on like the better person you put him in the ring with, the more he just seems to batter them. And like, mate, honestly, sometimes it's just scary to watch. And like, he's a super bantamweight that looks like a welterweight, and like he's so strong. Like he's just got a proper like ruthless style. And like I think he's only had 4 fights now. I'm telling you right now, he's good enough to be a British champion already.
Really?
Yeah, and I just can't wait until he actually gets to step up and gets a title fight. Because whoever it is in big trouble, man. Like, they're in big trouble. Like, I've seen it. Not only have I seen it, I've experienced it. Like I spar Ali all the time, and like obviously he's much bigger than me and he's much stronger. So like he does take it easy on me, but like I've felt the strength, I've felt the power, I've seen the boxing skill, like I've seen it all, felt it all. Like I'm telling you, man, I just want Wasserman to get him a title fight, and he will blast them away.
Who's he fighting next week?
I'm not sure. I think it's just the journeyman. Like, but after that, I mean, he's going to be 5-0, and he would have been his second fight on a televised platform. Like, surely after that, he's got to get a title fight.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Where did he fight him before then? Before Wasserman come along?
I think he was just bouncing around. Like he didn't have a promoter. I think he was doing a lot of Mo Pryor shows. I think he was doing. But yeah, and then obviously Wasserman come along, and obviously that's who he's still with now. So yeah, I think that's it's a good promotion to have behind him. So I'm sure. I'm sure within the next 2 fights he's got to get a title fight, but I'd really like it to be the next one after this because I just know that he's just destined for great things, and I just really want to see it, come for him.
Yeah, I've seen him in the gym a couple of times when you've been there. Has he always worked with Kieran then?
As far as I'm aware, as a pro, yeah, he's always worked with him. As far as I'm aware.
That's good. He lives the life as well, doesn't he? He's always in the gym. He's always, and I'll see on his Instagram, he's always eating properly, and it's good, because if you can stay like that, then you're not going to have much trouble during camp. I know this camp's been quite long for him as well, isn't it? Because you were saying that they were struggling to find an opponent at one point.
Yeah, well, he was meant to there was just pull outs, and I think it's still kind of back then. It was still kind of like around the COVID time, so there was still a lot of shows getting cancelled and so on and so forth. So he was just having a bit of trouble finding not necessarily an opponent, but just finding a fight date. But obviously now he's got one. So yeah, he's just always kind of been like stop start because there was dates flying around and they was trying to get ready for them, and then obviously it was like date's not happening. So yeah, it's been long for him.
Fingers crossed this is his last sort of fight at this level, and then it'll be people wanting to fight him for belts, like you say, and stuff like that.
Mm.
So where is that? The O2 Arena, did you say?
Yeah, it's at the O2. Yeah,
Good venue, the O2.
it is, mate. It's my favourite venue.
You
Watch.
said it's your dream fight venue, didn't you?
Yeah, it is, man.
Do you want to eventually, like, obviously, of course, eventually you're going to want to, but like, fight at another, would it, like, say another like small hall type venue? Is there any that you'd like to try, or are you happy just staying at York Hall?
Do you know what? Well, it's not necessarily small hall, but do you know what? When I went to Leeds and watched the fight there, I'd love to fight in that venue, the Leeds Arena. It was like, yeah, mate. It was just a nice venue, and the atmosphere was just incredible. But as far as like like small hall venues go, like York Hall is where it's at. Like home of British boxing. It's the most iconic venue in like the small hall scene. So, as far as like small hall goes, as where you can perform, I've probably performed at the best place to perform at. You know what I mean? So anything else would just be like a downer. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like it just wouldn't live up to the hype. So I wouldn't really want to fight anywhere unless it was like like a big venue like Wembley, O2, so on. You know what I mean?
So the people say to me, like, I try and sell tickets for the fights. Oh, where is it? I'm like, York Hall. They're like, what? Who's fighting? And I'm like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And they're like, what? Southern area at York Hall? And I'm like, yeah, that's where it all starts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what about so when this rematch was spoke about between yourself and Paul, was there any talk of any different venues for that?
They were trying to say down in Somerset, but it didn't. It just didn't happen. But again, as I was saying, mate, York Hall. Where would we have fought in Somerset? Surely it just would have been in a leisure centre.
Yeah, or a
Not that,
barn.
not that there's anything wrong with fighting in a leisure centre, but I'm just saying, leisure centre, York Hall. There's only one.
Yeah, there's no comparison. Yeah, you'd probably be fighting in a barn with a load of straw around you if you went down to Somerset.
That's what I mean.
So, well, anyone else on that card you said Josh Kelly. What do you think of him?
Mate, do you know what? Again, yeah, I honestly genuinely think that Josh Kelly has elite level boxing skill, but I just don't know, mate. It just doesn't really seem to be working for him at the moment. Like, I love the flashy side of him, but at times I think he just in certain fights it's just too much. Like, you can do a bit here and there, but you need to focus on really, instead of putting on a show, you need to focus on winning and doing a job. And like when he fought that Ray Robinson fella, you could see in the early rounds there was it weren't even like the level of boxing ability weren't even close. Josh Kelly was way in front of him, but I don't know, something just happened and that guy come into the fight, and in my opinion, if I remember rightly, I thought Josh Kelly lost that fight, but he got a draw. And then you go to David Anissian in like the first 3 rounds. I was like, well, just Josh Kelly's going to stop this guy. And then he gassed out, and David Anissian stopped him. But like, Josh Kelly's class. Like, he has the ability to be a world champion. But I just don't know, like, something just needs to change, like, in the way he goes about doing the business in his jobs. And like, one thing, that for me kind of it doesn't really make me angry, but it does really kind of get on my nerves a bit, is like he's a full-time athlete. He doesn't have to work. He's obviously got a lot of money behind him as well. He was signed by Matchroom, and now he's obviously signed by Wasserman as probably one of Wasserman's top stars. So he's got the money to live the life how he wants to. He's got the money to get a nutritionist, like the top nutritionist. He's on the best platforms. He's got all of this stuff, And in his last fight, Adam Booth says it's the best shape he's ever been in. And considering all that I've just said, that don't have to work, money to got the best platform, best nutritionist, can rest when he wants, train when he wants, sparring the top level athletes, so on and so forth. How are you in the best shape of you've ever been in, best shape of your life, and you struggle to do 4 rounds? That it just kind of pissing me off a little bit because I don't have none of them luxuries, and I have to work a full-time job. And not only like my job is fucking hard, mate. Like I do like 30,000 steps a day, and our vans, our vans can take 30 ton of weight, right? And we have to go to the yard and tip that off and refill the van again. Yeah, so we're loading like probably like 40 ton a day, yeah. So we're loading 40 ton a day whilst doing 30,000 steps. And then I have to go and do a 2-hour journey to the gym and then train at the gym. And I can fucking do more than 4 or 6 rounds. So I can't even do more than 4 fucking 6 rounds. Like, I just think that's, in a way, as much as I love Josh Kelly, like, love his style, love his boxing ability, everything, that's embarrassing, in my opinion.
Yeah, they spoke about weight and that again, didn't they? Has he stayed at welterweight? Does it sound boxing?
He stayed at welterweight. First, do you know what? Credit to him. I don't actually think he ever spoke about weight. It's just everyone else, like, you know, the casual fans and so on that spoke about it. As far as I'm aware, the words "I struggled with the weight" never come out of his mouth and never come out of Alan Booth's mouth. So, yeah, so, you know, fair play to him for that. And as I can see on BoxRec, it says he's still fighting at welterweight. So, yeah, he's still at welterweight.
So what happened if he fought Conor Benn?
This is, again, mate, I genuinely think he has the boxing ability to beat Conor Benn. But from what I've just spoken about, could he do the rounds with Conor Benn? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it seemed like, you know, you can't judge it off of one fight, but he got hit a few times and gassed. Is that going to happen again if he was to fight Ben? Because Ben's fucking heavy-handed. You know what I mean? He's got to be up there in that division, not obviously on par with Crawford, like power-wise, but you know, it's a shame, and it could be a real waste because if he is struggling, like you say, if he's got it full time, why is he not doing 4 rounds? You know, he's got the luxury where he can run in the morning, spar in the afternoon, run at night. It shouldn't be an issue. And then you've got people like yourself, you know, and like even Mark, for instance, fighting for these Southern area titles, putting everything you can into it. Like, you know, you say about your job and doing all the steps and that, and then you've got Mark who goes on a night shift, finish at 7 a.m. and he's in the gym at 10 a.m. because that's when he's got to do it. And you can get through it. It's very strange, mate. And, you know, obviously in the last few months, I've spoke to a lot of small hall fighters, and they all say the same. You know, I could have gone for 6 if they're in a 4 round, or if they're in a 6 round, I could have done 10. Or you know what I mean? So it's ridiculous, mate. I don't see how professional. You know, look, it is tough in there. I've seen what training's like, but if you're a professional athlete, you should not be struggling to not even do half the rounds of a fight.
Yeah,
that's just bollocks. And, you know, I reckon I could do 4 rounds with a bit of training, and that's saying something. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not 4, but I could definitely do 2 rounds. Do you know what I mean? So if you can't do fucking 4, you've got a serious problem, mate. I might get knocked out after 10 seconds, but I reckon, you know, it is what it is. But anyone else on that card? You said there was one other fight, didn't you, Harvey Horn?
Yeah, well, obviously Harvey Horn's making his comeback after he got stopped. I mean, there's not really too much to talk about because I'm guessing he's just going to go back to doing like a 4 or 6 rounder against like another, obviously a journeyman. But obviously Harvey Horn's a top talent, and obviously must have been a real shock to most people when he got stopped. So it'd just be interesting to see him come back. But obviously Harlan Eubanks on the card as well, and he's fighting that Sean Dodd. Is it Sean Dodd? His name?
That's a good fight. Yeah,
that's a good fight. It's probably like his first real step up, isn't it, Eubanks? So, and Dodd's good, man. So that should be, yeah. I'm quite looking forward to it. Obviously near the end of his career, but it's a good step up to what he's been facing in the past.
Yeah, Sean Dodd used to fight on all the Matchroom cards. He was very good. I rate him.
Champion, wasn't he?
Yeah, he beat. I'm not going to attempt to mention his name, but he beat Jake Ball, was it? I think.
Yeah, I think he might have done.
Oh, I'm completely wrong. Have a quick look.
No, actually, no, I can't see Jake Paul. No, Jake Paul's name's not on here. To win the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, beat this fella,
Yeah. Can you get it sent to me?
Lee.
I'll see who that is.
Yeah, fucking piece of shit. But yeah, no, I've never heard of him, to be honest. But yeah, no, he's been in there with good people, won good titles, and so yeah, it should be an interesting one, that one. But yeah, as I said, he's like 37 now, so coming to the end of his career.
Yeah, probably be his last one. He boxed in the boxing series the other week, didn't he?
Yeah.
He lost in the first fight, as you call it. You know, Jamie Smith, he's fighting on that next week, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Mate, that looks like a good one. That one.
I think Ellis Oro will probably. Well, he's got to be the favourite, and he's surely. But then I thought Ryland Cholton was the favourite the other week, and look what happened there. So, yeah, mate. I mean, I've got nothing else to add on anything. If you have, we can. If not, then
yeah, I think that's it, mate. We'll wrap it up. So, join us next week again, hopefully, for another episode. And if anyone wants to come on and debate wrestling with me, be my guest. Peace.
I'll be the referee. Peace. Now.